What's up, Niles? What's up, brother?
Man, chilling, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Shit, trying to figure out what's going on in this market.
Man, here we are.
Yeah. But how everybody else doing? How y'all doing?
Good man, how y'all doing?
Man, we good, man.
Living, baby.
Man,
Ready
we
to
got
execute.
yes, sir. We got a couple more people about
All
to hop
right.
in. We gonna get into it, man. Get into it, brothers. Hey, how was that call? Y'all was just on Malcolm.
Oh man, yeah, they was cooking.
It was cooking.
They was cooking.
Cooking. Talk about cooking. Like, no, chefing up, Chef Boyardee. And I mean, it really just goes back to don't break the plan, bro. Hyper focus on, like I was talking about earlier. The the game plan is we don't care about the bubble because we're investing in the companies who started first.
Hmm.
That's just the bottom line. The people that are going to be around are going to be, unless they don't adopt,
Yeah.
they will get left behind. But it don't look like none of the companies are not adopting to what's going on. You know,
Mm.
to even just think about the opportunity cost that is throughout, throughout it. We got to understand that these companies that are at the
We
beginning of the AI race, building the data centers,
I'm
putting
not.
in, having those partnerships, they not going nowhere because Nvidia themselves are
Why not?
investing in it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you gotta look at the long point of view is that
Keys, my bad, cuz somebody mute their mic. They interrupting.
so like think about the bigger long picture, right? Okay. If Nvidia has a stake in you, they're not going to let you fail because you're using their product. And they get paid off of you using their product and continuously growing. So if they took a stake and started investing in your company or do some type of partnership with you, like did you take a picture of that, Malcolm?
Yeah.
For that
I hear
that
them. You saying long term, they ain't gonna let you fail.
yeah, long term they ain't gonna let you fail. Like there was this map that one of the earners put up and sent over there to Troy to be able to use. And so Nvidia's at the beginning.
Mhm.
Nvidia's at the beginning, right? What up, bro? Nvidia's at the beginning. Hold on, I'm in the meeting, brother. What's going on? It's on the Zoom link that was sent in the group chat. The circle group. Yeah, the circle group. Did you download? Nigga, you commented in there earlier. It's all the way at the bottom.
Man, man, everybody's still trying to get acclimated, man.
You got it?
So
Yeah, everybody's
All
still
right.
getting acclimated, man. That's what's up.
Bet. Yeah, that's
Everybody's
my
still
homie
acclimated.
Sam. I told him go ahead hop in the ecosystem.
Oh
Like,
yeah, he said he was hopping on today.
yeah, so like this basically inside of the web, right? It had Nvidia at the center. So Nvidia feeds everybody that's around it. And Jensen was talking about this on his after the earnings call yesterday. He was basically saying we have everybody around the world or all these big companies use our chips. So you got to think AI essentially Nvidia is not going nowhere
yeah.
because we have the fastest chips and nobody's even close to us, even if they wanted to on the CPUs, right?
Mm.
So them having the fastest GPU, nobody is coming as far as creating any type of system that is close enough,
Not even
essentially.
close. Yeah, they.
So that's what you got to think about. So if they're investing in if they have Oracle, they have cloud, they have Dell for the cooling systems, they have Varista, they have CoreWeave as their little people that can't afford. So if you can't afford my chip, you can still get some form of use out of my chip by going to CoreWeave and using their system, right? So I don't think did I take a picture of the web? I think I did.
Now
If
you
not, I'll get the web tomorrow. Cause basically, bro, it's explaining how important Nvidia's role is, and nobody that's in the forefront right now that they're taking stake in, like, is going to be able to be in that AI bubble. So as long as we're investing in these
Mm,
good companies, then we won't be in the actual AI bubble.
bubble. Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. And that's where our focus is, bro. Like you just said, like investing in the quality. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the BBAIs, the
Yeah. Them
Beyond Meat,
outliers. Yeah.
yeah, there it's over with. You know what I mean? It's over with. Like we're entering an era where if you got your shit together, you got your balance sheet together, you making enough revenue, you got a business that provides a need, right? You solving a problem, bro. You're gonna be the top dog over these next couple years, bro. And like, man, people are going once people realize it, they're gonna start piling into you. So like Keys just said, once you already the big dog, once people figure out, oh damn, they're not going nowhere, then more people are just gonna hyper focus in the big dogs. And that's kind of what we need to be on, moving forward. But yeah, man, it's good to see everybody here. Yeah, crazy day in the market today, bro. Nvidia beat earnings. That's what we was waiting on. We was waiting to see how Nvidia performed. They beat on revenue and they beat on earnings, and their guidance was insane for next quarter. They said next quarter, you think we doing something now with this AI stuff, we gonna take it to a whole nother level, right? And so with that, market loved it. They pumped in, I think it was like $100 billion after the market closed. Then intraday today, the market got added almost, what was it, about 2 trillion, $1.7 trillion got added to the stock market today. And around 10, 11 a.m., almost $1.72 trillion got erased from the market. Like an intraday swing like that, we don't really see that. That's not normal, right? And so if you seeing 2 trillion get taken out of the market. What they doing is they trying to trick you out of your position. Right? They trying to trick you out of your position, but they also trying to let you know that this is a big dog game. This is not for no, I just want to get rich quick. This is not that. Everybody that thought I'm about to get rich quick, I'm about to become a trader, and this is what it is, this is my life, you probably got whooped today because all the stars aligned. The news made sense, right? The news made sense. The chart looked good. The AI big dog said we're going to do better. They said we're going to get an interest rate cut, right? As of yesterday, everything made sense to go all in. And right when you go all in, they rug pull you. They rug pull you every single time, bro. They rug pull you every single time. That's why you got to have a plan. And that's why you got to know what you're doing, right? That's why I stress buy quality, buy time, and buy it on a deep discount. If you do those three things, bro, you controlling what you can control, right? Just like sports, like I said last week, control what you can control. You can't control if they take away $2 trillion. You can't control what Trump says, but you can control if you in position or not, right? And then I got a couple stats I want to read to y'all. Uh, the VIX. The VIX. If you don't know what the VIX is the volatility index. It tracks the S&P 500, right? It just tracks how much buying and selling is going on. When you see the VIX rising crazy, that means there's a lot of selling going on. If you see it slowly creeping down, that means it's slightly bullish, right? People are buying. It's like in a chill mode, right? The VIX closed at 26 today, right? When a VIX is elevated over 25, 30, 40 range, that means it is extreme fear going on in the market, right? It is extreme fear going in the market. So I'm gonna show you something. In 2008, the housing crash, the VIX touched 79, right? People that bought at the very bottom, rich as hell right now. In 2020, in the pandemic, VIX touched 66. People that bought, rich as hell right now. The VIX touched in April this year, 45. People that bought, rich as hell right now. So if the VIX says at 26, it's hovering in that range of going upward, of where it's almost that time to buy these assets on a discount, right? And I think Wall Street Trapper had said it earlier, bro. He said you cannot see fear and see opportunity at the same time in the market. You cannot see fear and opportunity at the same time in the market. You either see an opportunity or you scared as hell right now. So I'm just giving you the numbers. Listen, when the VIX gets to around 30 or over 30, it's time to go shopping. That's why you got to have your money in your account. That's why you got to have your brokerage account set up. That's why you got to have that cash ready to deploy when it's time. It's not when the VIX go crazy and the VIX go high and high, and then you like, oh shit, I'm about to open my brokerage account today. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that because it's gonna take a couple days for your money to settle. That's why you already need to be in position for when it's time to deploy your capital, right? If you was here in April, you learned a lesson to never be all in your investments. In April, for me, example, when the April lows came in, I was already in everything where I didn't have no money left to buy the dip. Everybody that had money left to buy the dip are rich as hell right now. I didn't have no money left. I was all in. So I had to tell myself, I'm never going to let this happen again. The next time we dip like this, I'm going to have some money on the side. I got money on the side in case we dip again. I had money on the side waiting for the dip this week and last week and the week before. And I got money next week and the week after that. Number one lesson, always have money on the side. It's just like in the streets, bro. I said this last week as well. It's just like in the streets. You got to have money for the re-up. You got to have the re-up money. You don't got the re-up money, you're going to be cooked. Now you got customers, you got people waiting on your supply. You don't got no more money for the re-up. That's why it's always important to make sure you got money stashed to the side, bro. Always. What left? Fear and greed index. Got some more numbers for you, and then I'm done with the statistics. Fear and greed index is at 6. Yep. The fear and greed index is at 6. Man, fear and greed index. So on a scale of 1 to 100, they show you if it's at 50, it's neutral. It's showing you the sentiment, right? It's showing you the sentiment of how investors feel. When it's on the 1 to 10 range, that means people are extremely fearful. When it's in the 90 to 100 range, that means people are extremely greedy. Money is just getting thrown in, thrown in, thrown in. Listen to this. The April lows in April, the fear and greed index was at 3. Right? Listen to me. Today we closed at 6. In April, we was at 3. In the pandemic in 2020, the fear and greed index was at 8. Right? In the 2008 housing crash, the index was at 12. So if we close today at 6, that means everyone is extremely fearful. Right? If everyone is extremely fearful, this is the time where we need to be getting in position. Not getting in position to anything, like Keys and Malcolm just said, getting in position to the quality companies that are going to take over the world for the next couple of years. Follow me on that? So if we close at 6 today, when everyone is extremely fearful, Everyone is bearish. The world is falling apart. This is going on. This is going on. This is the time where you need to be licking your chops. Like, man, this is what I was waiting on. Right? The game is buy low, sell high, bro. I'd rather buy it at $1 and sell it at $5. That's the game, bro. Now you're just doing it on a bigger scale. This is all the stock market is, bro. Buy low, sell high. Right? There's opportunities every single day. You just got to be able to see it. Right? So another thing that people are not talking about is the Bank of Japan. The Bank of Japan. They just had a meeting earlier, and they said it looks like they're going to raise interest rates in December, right? And their next meeting is what is that? December 18th. So if you don't know how important interest rates are, it's the price that you have to pay for the loan that you're borrowing, right? And so with Japan doing this, they have kind of been in an environment where their loans are not expensive. They're very cheap. So what does that mean? That means people from all over the world, they're going to Japan, they're asking Japan for a loan, and the interest is very low. So what do you do with that bread? Man, I can get more money over there and I don't got to pay that crazy interest. That means I got more capital to invest and deploy in all these different asset classes. That's crypto, that's stocks, that's real estate, that's my own business. What happens when they say we're going to raise rates and they raise rates? Now that loan is expensive again. So what do people do? Damn, so if the loan is expensive again, I then I got to sell out of what I got so I can pay that loan back. Japan carry trade happened last year where this same situation happened, where when they raised interest rates, you started seeing the market just sell off crazy. When people got so much money on leverage into the market, and when they get margin call, when they feel like they got debt they got to pay off, or they got an emergency that they got to pay off, they're not taking money out of their business. They taking money out of their stocks. Right? And so that's something that everybody's not talking about, bro. This is they're supposed to be doing this December, let me see. December 18th is at their next meeting. Today they said earlier, they said, man, we're gonna have to raise interest rates. We're gonna have to do that. Same thing for the United States of America, bro. The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell and them said today that it doesn't look like we're getting an interest rate cut no more. Right? And that's like, okay, now we're not getting an interest rate cut. Now what does that mean? Okay, so now y'all said inflation was cool. Y'all said there was more jobs created last month, but now y'all saying we're not gonna get no interest rate cut. Something not adding up, bro. Right? And that's kind of where I think a lot of investors were today. They're like, bro, something's not adding up, right? And when things ain't aligning, it's like, bro, you're gonna see the market sell off like it did today. Another thing that's going on, I just feel like they're playing a different game than us, bro. I feel like they playing a different game than us, bro. Um, I feel like they all obviously it sounds crazy, right? They all working together in a way of we're gonna be in tandem with every move that we make moving forward. If we're gonna sell off, we're gonna do it at the same time. If we're gonna buy, we're gonna do it overnight at the same time. Right? And I'm like, okay, so if they playing a different game, what does that mean for us? That means we got to control what we can control. Like I said, when everybody freaking out, when everybody is super bearish, just know the bottom is almost in. It happens every single time like that, bro. When everybody's buying puts and when everybody's shorting, when everybody's selling and saying this ain't for me and the market's about to crash and this country is terrible, the bottom is usually close to when everybody is saying that. That's why it's important to stay in position. Yo, focus on controlling what you can control. I keep saying that, bro. Buy quality assets, put some time on it long term, right? And buy it on a deep discount. If you do those three things, bro, you doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing what you're supposed to do, right? And so, a couple other things that I was seeing. Debt is expanding at record levels right now. The US debt is going to levels that, dog, it's insane right now. It's not good. Like I said, no rate cut in sight now for December. $2 trillion got taken away today. Like, that's not normal, bro. Head and shoulders on SPX. I'm about to show you that in a second. If you look at the daily on SPX, you can see a classic head and shoulders, which is kind of showing that we headed lower. We headed lower, right? They saying no jobs available. Robots are taking everybody's jobs. Credit debt and consumer debt is at all-time highs. People can't pay their credit card off. They can't pay their auto loan, and they can't pay their mortgage, and they student loans. And there's nobody hiring. So if we got all this going on, bro, this is just a recipe for disaster, right? Right? And Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is going through what it's going through. You know what I mean? So I say all this to say, bro, when everything looks absolutely terrible, when it don't look like no good is in sight, it's usually when they come in and they buy everything up. That's why it's important for us to make sure that we playing the game and we in position. Don't let our emotions kill us. Don't let our emotions take over, bro. Stick to the script. Stick to your principles. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't want to get into all that. I don't want to day trade like that. Yo, if that's not your game, stick to the principle, bro. Listen, you got about 12 to 18 months to get as much money as possible, bro. Because after this AI wave, right, is over, you're gonna be trying to figure out what's next that can get us those returns. And all the greats that I've been seeing, they're all saying it. The returns that we've been seeing, the 500% returns, 600% returns, Palantir going from $18-20 a share to $200 in 1 year. There's gonna come a time in about 2 years, we're not gonna be able to see those returns no more like that. We're not gonna be able to see that. We're gonna be able to see it over the next 12 to 18 months, but after this, bro, we're gonna go through a little downturn after that, bro. That's why it's important to get your bag right, bro. Don't make no crazy purchases right now. You should be all in on your business and to making money and bettering your life right now. No distractions right now. No distractions. You can't afford it, bro. The wealth gap is at crazy levels right now. Crazy levels right now. Like I said,
Say that one more again, Nate. I don't think they heard you. For the people in the back, man.
the wealth gap is at crazy levels right now. The wealth gap is at crazy levels right now, bro.
Hey, it ain't no in between no more. Either you rich or you poor, man. They don't want no middle class, man,
They
at
don't.
all.
They don't. They don't. And
So
that's why, I was talking to my parents one time and they was telling me, they was like, you grew up well where we were able to take care of you. And like we were considered middle class. And I'm just like, man, there is no more middle class, bro. There is no more we can maintain this level of living. No, life expectancy is growing. You used to live till you were 60 years old. So when you retired around 45, 50, you had 10 years left to live off of your pension, your retirement account. Now you live until you 100, 90. So when you retire at 60, you got 40 years of time that you got to make up with money, bro. And inflation is going crazy. So when you retire at 60 now, you're going to look up like, damn, my money going to run out when I'm 70. So what are you going to do for 30 more years? That's why you're seeing older people working these jobs, bro. When you 70, 80, bro, you shouldn't be worried about getting no part-time job, bro. You in the second half of your life, you should be enjoying your life. But what I'm telling you is with inflation, with this wealth gap, and with this game that they playing, it is important for you to lock in right now, bro. I say it every day and I'm gonna keep saying it. If you can sacrifice 1 year, you're gonna be able to live 50 years like a king. I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm gonna say it one more time. If you can sacrifice 1 year, you're gonna be able to live 50 years like a king. The question is, are you gonna do it though? Right? We can chill off the partying right now. We can chill off of the being on the internet all day. That's another thing that I had to realize. I was on my phone too much. I was scrolling Instagram way too much, man. And it was doing something to my mind. I'm seeing him make this money and her do this, and he started this business and he's getting this recognition. And what happens, you start seeing that and it start playing tricks on your mind. They start playing tricks on your mind. It's getting you off focus of what you need to be focused on, bro. That's why it's important for us to stay together, right? Keep speaking life into each other. Hey, I believe in you, bro. Hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Hey, how can I help you? How can I support? When you're online, when you're on the internet, bro, it does tricks on your mind, bro. It does tricks on your mind. That's why it's important for us to just stay focused, stay locked in. I know it get hard. Bro, I'm in Dallas right now, bro. And it feel good as hell. I've been in the pool all week in November. I've been in the pool all week in November. You don't think it's easy to be outside, but you gotta find a way to stay locked in, bro. You gotta find a way to stay locked in. That is why, if you're a beginner, your number one goal is to get your hands on some money. However you get the money, I don't care. If that's working a job, if that's starting a little side hustle, if that's starting a business, your number one goal is getting your hands on some money. Your number two goal is putting your money into vehicles that can make your money make money for you. Number three is to keep executing your plan, staying focused. That is it. That should be your number one goal right now as a beginner, bro. Even if you're not a beginner, that's the mantra, bro. Back to the basics. Back to the basics, right? And so, Keys, Malcolm, did y'all have anything else that y'all wanted to add in from just the call that y'all was on, and then really just just some words, for the beginners, for people that are new as well.
Man, if you did not catch Trapping Tuesdays from this past week, definitely lock in on that. Just one gem. I mean, he dropped a ton of gems on why this is absolutely is not an AI bubble. But one thing, just co-signing what you mentioned tonight, just about the AI bubble and just about where we're at with the market, just in terms of the VIX and the fear and greed. He said not one time has the market collapsed when everybody saw it coming. It would always happen when nobody or virtually nobody sees it coming. So that's just something to think about. Like we're not going to collapse. We're not going to collapse. We've been there before, and we're going to be here again. And like you said, you just got to be in position to take advantage.
Yes, sir.
Mindset, Malcolm, boy. I tell you, boy, Malcolm always set it off with that mindset, man. So, I mean, just to say it, bro, like we for those who have not been here before, understand that when the tariffs came in April, boys was down. Trust me. hefty numbers. Hey, I was looking at my account and I was like, damn,
Bloody.
they even got me. But I also wasn't fearful during that time. So, I also continued to put money in to buy. One thing I did, I was kind of like Nate. I had money tied up and, already that was inside the market. But however, I'm like, okay, well, if it's down this month, I mean, down this way, it's a buying opportunity. So just even learning how to use your money and what to do and why to do it, is a big thing. So, just looking at the overall picture, man, like know what's the purpose and what's your plan too. A big thing is like even sometimes out of this, being too greedy. I'll take the SMR play for the same, for the thing. Should I have cut it at 40%? Hell
Mm,
yeah. Now that I'm looking at what's on the loss plate, but just understand that the market was due for a pullback. You know what I'm saying? But we also have our wins. Good job for everybody who executed on the
Sure.
CLS this week.
Mm.
So things happen. We got Hood that's down, but if you able to, withstand the storm, we all understand that when there's a bad pullback, there's a heavy bounce back, and the
heavy.
market's rigged to stay up 80,
Mm.
was it 82% of the time or something like that?
Yep. 90%.
90%. So like they shaking everybody out. Everybody from
Yes.
the trees, they're shaking boys out.
Yep.
Mhm.
He not
And
lying.
also just realize how blessed we all are to be a part of a community like this.
Wow.
Imagine being new and trying to navigate a day like today by yourself. You done. You done. You probably taking that
Hey, you
shit.
like you hanging that shit up.
You not playing this shit ever
Nah, at
again,
Hey,
all.
on my mama, you hanging that
At
Nintendo
all.
stick up,
Yeah.
boy.
Look, as soon as the market closed today, you ran straight to the liquor store.
bro.
Hey, the
Went to the
liquor store
plug.
for real.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we just blessed to have each other. I mean, just to talk through days like today and just to keep us all in that mindset of, I mean, we in this game long term.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, man, he not lying, bro. Like, imagine starting this thing by yourself and you don't got nobody to talk to. Like, and seeing a day like today, you probably like, how did that happen? Is
Right.
it possible? Like, are they cheating? That's what you're gonna start asking yourself. Like, these niggas are cheating, bro. Like, when you start saying they cheating, they
Hey,
got your head all the way turned up. They got your head like they cheating. The refs cheat. Like when you do that, bro, man, they got you. But that's why it's important. Uh,
it's-
to understand. That's said they cheated. But that's why it's important to understand the statistics and understand the sentiment of what's going on. And it's important to be around people that have been here before. I have been in the market when it was at extreme fear. I've been there, so I understand. Oh, I'm cool. Guys was calling me earlier, like, Nate, why you not tripping? Like, bro, did you not? Bro, first off, I'm playing it for the long haul. When you change your mind to think in decades and not days, your perspective broadens to a point that you've never seen before.
The bar.
You have to broaden your perspective, right? And most of us, it's messed up, I'm saying it, but when you black, you've never had the you've never had the grace to
Hmm.
think long term about your life. We've always been in survival mode.
I'd say it's been survival mode.
We've always been in survival mode. We've always had to figure it out today or tomorrow because our mom and dad, they got to go to work and we got to figure it out and we might be broke and we don't got no. We've always had to do that. But that is where we get to today, where it's like, I had to slow down. My brother told me one time when I was in college, he said, man, you going so fast. He said, man, sometimes you might have to slow down just to speed up. I was out. He said sometimes you might have to slow down just to speed up. Get more clarity on your vision. Stop running so fast and take a moment to reassess where we at, right? Reassess what the goals are. Reassess, okay, cool, what do we need to do? Right? I had a podcast that I did the other day. And they had asked me, they said, yo, what does your routine look like? And I said, bro, my Sundays are everything to me. My Sundays set the precedent for the week. It's not Monday that sets the precedent. No, Sunday is when I plan what I need to get done this week. Monday through Friday is just when I execute. Sunday is when I actually plan where I need to be by next Sunday. That's what you use your Sundays for. What times I'm going to read, what times I'm going to work out, what times I'm going to be in the market, what times I'm watching Market Mondays. Bro, my schedule Monday nights, Market Mondays on Mondays, Trapping Tuesdays on Tuesdays, Blackouts on Wednesdays, our Inner Circle call on Thursdays. It leaves you with Friday like, damn, that's my only free day. But that's how you got to be when you're trying to get to your goals, bro. You have to have a schedule. You have to have a routine. Everybody rich I know are on a schedule and on a routine. There is no one out here just free balling this shit. If you think you're just about to free ball your way to $1 million, it's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. Have a plan. Execute your plan. Right? And I said this earlier on my story. The next time you get into a challenging time or a hurdle that you got to jump, right? Just imagine how David felt when he had to go against Goliath. Right? Imagine how he felt, man. Like, and you wouldn't understand how strong David is unless you knew how strong Goliath was. Right? And so that's the same with what we going through. Like, like, people are not going to know how incredible my story is unless they understand the crazy obstacles that I had to overcome. I'm going to say it again. They're not going to know how incredible I am unless they understand how crazy the obstacles I had to overcome. But the caveat is you got to keep going. Once you stop, ain't nothing to talk about. Once you stop, it ain't no, okay, man, I know you was going through that and going through that and going through this. What happened? Man, I should have kept going. How many of our OGs done said, man, I should have did this, I should have did that, I should have did this when I was your age? That's why we got to keep going. We got to keep executing. On the worst days of the worst days, if you can find a way to push through, on the other side of that is a blessing waiting on you, bro. It's happened every single time in my life, bro. Every single time I didn't see a way out, when I pushed through and got over it, it was the biggest blessing of my life that came out of it, bro. Every single time. Every single time. I got cut from my high school basketball team, man. And man, when I was saying I was balling, I was crying, man, because when people know you and people know you what you're known for, and once you get cut, it's like that was your identity. Like, who are you now? And now you have an identity crisis, and you got two options. Still to this day, you always get two options: to keep going or to fold. I kept going. I became the only one from that team to get cut from their high school basketball team to go on and finish a college basketball career. I was the only person that got cut to do that. The only person, bro. End up getting awards, getting a most improved player, the MCCA conference in 2019 award. Got my full scholarship out to West Virginia. I got met so many great people to help me do what I'm doing now. I went to multiple schools. I was looking at when I was younger, my mom, she kept saying, you transferring schools, with her being an HR, she's like, that shows us on a resume instability. So my mom is telling me, people can't rely on you because every single time there's a situation or something happens, you got to move on to a next chapter or you got to pivot or go somewhere else. And for the longest, I was like, man, she's right. Like, but then I got older and realized, man, your blessings are sometimes in the pivots. Your blessings are sometimes in the pivots. You gotta be able to be light on your feet. But it also comes back to what I just said. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep figuring this thing out, bro. I didn't figure all this stuff out in one day. I'm calm and I'm chill now because I had to go through the L's that others might have to go through. But our only thing right now is why we got community is so you don't gotta go through that by yourself. You gonna make some money in the market, and you gonna be like, man, this shit is sweet. And then one of them days you're gonna load up, and that day you load up, it's gonna wipe your entire account. It does it every single time. I see so many people making content about investing and trading, and I'm a trader, and dude, Ian said it as well. If you don't got real results and you ain't been doing this for 5+ years, or you don't got no credentials with this shit, man, stop it, bro. How you gonna teach somebody about something that you ain't never been through before? That's why it's important to be around people or listen to people that have gone through what you've gone through. If I need to get into real estate, I don't know everything. I know exactly who I'm calling. Malcolm and Keys. I'm not calling somebody on the internet who said I got a course. No, I'm going to the people that have been through this so they can tell me where they messed up so I don't got to mess up. It's the same thing with this, what we doing. Every single day, I'm pouring into the chat. Every single day, I'm thinking of ideas. Hey, y'all, buy quality, buy it on a discount, put some time on it. Yo, what you struggling with? What you need help with? Are you a beginner? Hey, hit this section under this tab. Hey, just start off, get your brokerage account open. Man, join the chat. The chat is so powerful because it's not just about plays. It's about how does Keys actually think? Oh, that's how you think about that? Oh, Microsoft touched 490. Oh, okay. Now I see how he think. How does Malcolm think? How does Khalil think? Now I see how they think. What happens is when you surround yourself with people that think on a high level, you eventually start thinking on a high level.
Iron sharpens iron, my brothers. I'm telling y'all. Iron sharpens iron.
Every single time, bro. Every single time. It does it every single time. That's why it's important for us to just stay connected, right? The ones that are not afraid of this moment, the ones that are licking their chops, saying, I've been here before, are the ones that are going to make the most money in their life over this next year. You're going to make the most money in your life over this next year, bro. But you got to stay down. You got to stay focused, and you got to keep learning, right? That's why I developed the ecosystem because of those tabs, right? I got all this stuff in my mind on how to become successful and what you're trying to do, but I can't just say it to you. So I broke it down in tabs. Oh, we got a book section. Yo, I told my brother earlier that was on here. I told him, yo, if you want to turn this into a book club, we can do that. If there's a certain book that's on Amazon that we can all order and that we need to read a chapter, dude, this is the type of mindset that you need to have when you are trying to build something with your community. You know the idea that people be saying, Bro, if all of us just put $100 into something, we all get rich. No, it don't work like that. Because one of the people is not going to be educated enough to know if this is a good investment or if this is a bad investment. That is why everybody needs to be continuously moving higher and higher and higher in their thinking. You need to be reading. You need to be listening. I just told you, market Mondays on Monday, trapping Tuesdays on Tuesdays, blackouts on Wednesdays, inner circle call on Thursdays. That means 4 of your days automatically are dedicated to leveling up your life. Four days automatically. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, you can do what you got to do. But those 4 days, you got to make it imperative to the succession of your life that you have to learn every single week, every single day, somehow, some way. It's imperative. You have to, bro. You have to, right? And so I'm about to show y'all some charts on here of what I've seen on SPX. And then I gotta tell y'all about the Federal Reserve. I think I'm gonna start doing that every week, just talking about the history of money, right? Last week we had a really good conversation about just the system of what's coming, right? In the book that I was saying to read. I think Tashawn said he was about to start reading it next. Then you say that, brother? He's about to start reading that Creature of the Jekyll Island next. I think he said he was gonna start reading that too. So that's a big book. That book's 700 pages. 700 pages. When was the last time you read a book? Not 700. When was the last time you picked up and finished a book from beginning to end? 700 pages.
Yeah, brother. I
Yeah,
just
I
started
got
that.
What'd you say, brother?
I just started. I'm like halfway through the first chapter. I had to finish that Psychology of Money first, but it's heavy already.
Man, it's heavy, ain't it?
Yeah, it's heavy.
700 pages. It's long, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it some more though, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so I like talking about the history of money because it helps us understand where we're going, right? And it's you got to understand where you've been to understand where you're going, right? And so the Federal Reserve, I want to talk about the Federal Reserve today, and it's in the first chapter of the Creature of Jekyll Island. Um, man, a lot of people don't understand the Federal Reserve and the United States government are two different entities, right? The Federal Reserve, the people that control the money. Whenever you hear people talking about, man, the money printers are on, they printing money, they talking about the Federal Reserve. The U.S. government, nah, they a different entity, right? Federal Reserve here, U.S. entity here, right? And so imagine I think it was early 1900s, and these 5 to 6 very influential people. I'm talking about bankers. I'm talking about high level politicians. I'm talking about people that were the richest people in the world. They started seeing other people start banks that were about to compete with the banks that they have. Right? And so they said, oh no, we got to figure this out. And mind you, when you up there and you in the billions and the trillions and shit, yeah, you shake hands and haha kiki in public, but in reality, bro, you want to be richer than that motherfucker. Yeah, Jensen and Elon, kiki, but when they leave, they trying to figure out how can I perfect my business to become the richest man in the world. Oh, Elon's got this. That's what's up. But when I get back to what I'm doing, I gotta go harder and harder and harder and harder. That's why it's important to be in the right rooms around the right people. They're gonna motivate you, right? So imagine back in the early 1900s, bro. Got these 6 people that said, man, we got to get a control of this thing. So what they did is they got on a train in disguises, right? Not in the costumes, but they had hats on. They had like the big hats on. They had shades on, glasses on. They had all this on. They got on one train and headed down to Jekyll Island. They headed down to Jekyll Island. So what happens is when they got here, they said, we got to be able to come up with a system that keeps us on top. We got to come up with a system that keeps us on top. So they said, what we can do is this. We gotta find something that perpetually keeps us as the top dogs for the rest of our life. That keeps us as the top dogs for the rest of our life. So what they say, okay, what we can do is this. We can come up with this money printing machine that's not backed by gold no more, that'll consistently fund everything that we got going on. But they said, man, there's 5 things that we got to figure out. We gotta figure these 5 things out. These are the 5 things. If we can figure these 5 things out, we can get this thing passed in a law. The 5 things. Number 1, they said, we gotta create a system where we can print as much money as possible in the purpose of lending. So when we lend it out, that's money being added into the economy, added to wherever you are, right? That's debt being taken on, right? That's number 1. We gotta, that's one thing that we gotta get done. Number 2, we gotta get control of all the other banks that's popping up. We gotta get control of their reserves. What does that mean? So if I'm JP Morgan, for example, and I'm the top dog, and then I got all these clients and customers coming to me, but then out of nowhere, it's a company called Regions Bank that has started some shit all the way in Phoenix. People don't got to come all the way to JP Morgan in New York no more. So you taking clients away from me. So then when you see Regions, then you like, damn, okay, Regions did it. Okay, now we got Citibank. Damn, another bank. Then we got Fifth Third Bank. Damn, all these JP, they like, I see where this is going. They're going to start all these banks up, get all these customers and take them away from us. That's why they said we got to get control of this thing. So like I said, number 1, we got to create a system or create a money printer where you can get as much money as possible. Number 2, we got to get control of all the bank's reserves. And that is what I'm saying. So your Regions Bank, Fifth Third Bank, just in case if there's a bank run or they go bankrupt, we got control where we can supply them with the money that they need. Why would anyone do that? Yo, if you go bankrupt at your bank and people are lined up at the door to get their money, it's over with. So what you got to do is I got to lock in with somebody that in case this happens, we got a complete chute that can shoot money straight to us. That was number 2. Number 3, they said we got to get control of the competition. We got control of it. Yeah, we can put money into their banks, but we got to get control of this thing, bro. It's too many banks popping up. We got to control this thing. That's number 3. Number 4, we got to convince the American people that this is going to be beneficial for them when we create this system. So imagine the wording that you got to do. So instead of it saying this is a scam, we got to say this is the best thing that's going to happen to y'all as American people. Because if you smart and you read through the lines, you can be like, this is some bullshit. No, they trying to get in control where they keep themselves at the top and they keep us at the bottom and no one is going to be able to get up there. But they got to disguise it where, nah, this is going to be beneficial for you. They like, instead of calling it the scam system, we got to call it like something federal. And then it's money, so they're like money reserve. So we're going to call it the Federal Reserve. That was number 4. And the last thing that they needed to do is have someone pay the price for creating this system. Remember, yin and yang, bro. Whenever there's yin, there's gonna be yang. Whenever there's white, there's black. There always has to be a price that needs to be paid. So what they said is, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the American people pay for this through something called perpetual inflation. So as our dollar keeps losing value, that's how they're gonna pay for us continuously keep printing this money. Okay, cool. Once they got all five, they're like, cool, now we got to go convince Congress. Once they convince Congress, they got that thing instated in 1913. They've had the money printer on since 1913, right? And so the reason why I say that is because it's important to understand how things were created in the past so you can understand why it's going to be hard for things to stop in the future. They talk about our debt keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. Well, you keep printing more and more and more money. We can't stop the debt until you stop printing. So if you're not going to stop printing, that means our debt is going to keep rising. And when they both keep rising, over time and over time, something's going to have to break. That is why I said over the next 12 months, 12 to 18 months, you got to get as much money as possible, bro. They said it was a pandemic. I call it a plandemic, where they was able to see one little sickness, how it would affect the world. Okay, cool. We got people doing this. Okay, cool. Zoom took off. We got people working from home. They don't really need to come to office no more. Okay, stimulus check. Okay, if we were to send money out to everybody on a global scale, how we do it? Will we deposit in their accounts? Will we send them a check? Okay, cool. We're just working the kinks out right now. There is a bigger game being played on a bigger level that you do not understand. You don't understand it, bro. That's why it's important to get as much money as possible. Stay focused, like I said, and stay around the right people. You're around the right people, you're going to have everything that you ever imagined. Bro, God will do it bigger and better than you ever imagined, bro. I promise you. You probably said, I want to be rich by, I want to be rich by 35, 40. I want to be rich by 30. If you stay locked in and focused like you should be, God will get you rich by 28. But you got to stay locked in and focused. All of us can look back on the goals that we put out and we can ask ourselves, did I stay locked in every day like I should have been? The answer is 90% of the time going to be no. I could have did this better. I could have did that better. I could have did this. I could have did this. Cool. That's why it's important for us to stay locked in more than ever. Let me show you these charts though, man. Show you what these charts looking like. How was that story time, man?
No, that was strong. That was strong.
Did that stuff make sense though?
Sure.
Of course. Of course.
I'll be trying to break it down where, you know what I mean? We can understand it. You feel me? Look at this. Y'all can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Look at this. SPX. I wanted to show y'all the head and shoulders that I was talking about. Right? So on SPX, on a daily, we got a clear head up here. See that head? It's like a head. And then here, we got like a clear, gonna extend it a little bit. We got a clear shoulder over there. And we got a clear shoulder right here. Right? So head, we got a left shoulder, and then we got a right shoulder. Whenever you see this pattern lining up like that, that could be a case to go lower. Right? That can be a case to go lower. I can actually bring this down. That can be a case to go lower, right? And it's not going to be perfect every time, right? But this is a pattern that shows, man, we got the head, we got a shoulder, we got another shoulder. Man, we could be headed to the downside. So the people that probably got in on puts up here and started shorting the market up here in the 69.15, they probably, if they held and seen this thing through, 69.15 down to 6,500, dog, they just made a bag, man. Right? And they talking about Michael Burry and him shorting Nvidia and him shorting Palantir and all that. You know, yeah, he's probably up some cheese, but when it comes to the returns that they're trying to see, like I said, asymmetric risk. If Michael Burry put his cheese in and he wanted to get a 5% return, I mean, he got that. He probably got that. Good shit. But if he wants to see that exponential 100%, 200%, 300% return, which hedge funds need to make up for all the losses that they have when they're specifically shorting, he's going to have to see that thing fall a lot longer, right? So I always got my worst case scenarios in. Yo, we could fall from 65.30 and we could fall down to about 62.15. See a great support over here. And we at the 100-day moving average. Y'all see that orange line right here? This orange line, that's showing the 100-day moving average. So what that means, over the past 100 days, this line is showing you how the stock has moved. Usually, when companies hit their 100-day moving average, right, or indexes, when they hit their moving averages, period, those are good areas for investors to buy. Right? So we got a decision tomorrow. We closed at our 100-day moving average. We could bounce here, go back to the upside, and that'll be okay, cool. It'd have been like, oh, we seen that. That was smart. That was a great dip buy. It came right down to its support, came right down to its 100-day moving average. People came in and bought. Let's finish the year strong. Or we can fall past that. And if we fall past that, we could be headed down to that 62.15 range. We could be headed down to that 62.15 range. But I wanna highlight something real quick. Back in October, we had a similar crazy sell. Do y'all see that? From here all the way down to here. And it closed down. It wasn't a wick down. It didn't wick down and go touch. It just closed there. When it closed, we jumped, came back and touched, and we ran from 6,500 to 6,900. If you can see what just happened today, that looks a little similar to what just happened today. Look at the really no wick. It closed down strong. If you go look at, hold on, let me go look at SPY again. I was looking at it earlier. SPY popped overnight. SPY was up $3 like an hour ago. SPY was up $3 just an hour ago while the market's been closed. Who knows if it sticks? We don't know. But this looks similar to what just happened today. So over this next day or two, we are going to know if we're about to head back higher or if we're about to break lower. Right? Or if we're about to break lower. Listen, this candle from here to here, I want y'all to keep this in mind. 67.70 to 65.38. So about almost 200 points. They said it was $1.7 trillion that wiped away in the market today. Okay, so if that means almost, okay, now when you start thinking, okay, if that's almost 200 points, it's not exactly 200 points, 65.38 to 67, well, that's over 200 points, right? Yeah, over a little over 200 points. That means 200 points represents about 1.7 trillion. So that means I got to keep in mind about 100 points represents around roughly 1 trillion. Just estimate. I'm not being perfect on it, right? So that means every single time we see the market move in those bunches, we can only imagine how much money is being moved. That shows you that this game is at an elevated level, bro. An elevated level like you've never seen before. Elevated level like you've never seen before. A 200-point move back in the 90s, that was billions of dollars. 50 billion, 40 billion, 20 billion dollars. The same move today is almost 2 trillion.
Mm.
Something to keep in mind, bro. Something to keep in mind. So yeah, man. I just wanted to show you SPX. I didn't want to go over no individuals today. I just want to show you where we are on the index. Because if you can understand where the index is going, 9 times out of 10, you can understand where the big dogs are going. The Mag 7s, the mega caps. So yeah. I also want y'all to see that Meta today.
Hey,
Meta
quick
today.
question
What's up,
before
brother?
we go to Meta.
Yeah.
And you may already know this, but Trap said it on Tuesday. He said typically when you see candles that big, that's institutions.
Most definitely. That's not recent. That's not us. That's not little niggas like us.
Right.
We
Yeah.
don't got no money to move the market like that.
They
Yeah.
No.
market. They
Nah.
shaking that money like dropping, shaking boys out like a stripper boy.
Boy, they at Onyx. Literally. Today was a day at Onyx. They are literally showing you this is a big dog game, bro. This is not no little puppy game. Y'all remember off of ATL with T.I.
Nah, the
and
dog
Big Boy?
food.
And he was telling his little brother, like, bang. He said, bro, this is a big dog game. You play, bro, this ain't no
Wow.
little kitty game, bro. This is not that. So for y'all new people that don't got a community that we have, that are trying this out for the first time, I'm just gonna dibble and dabble and try to make as much money as I can. I think I know what I'm doing. You just went to go sit, like Keys said, you just went to go sit down on the bench. You just went to hang your keys up, dog. You probably like, this is what they was talking about when they were saying the stock market is a scam.
Mhm.
Today was a prime example. You're gonna hear people talk about this for months. And I also want to be I want to have good sentiment, right? I want to be cautious and I want to have care for the people that are new, right? Because about a month ago when we had a sell-off like this, you also seen one of the crypto guys in the Ukraine. They said he killed himself,
Yeah.
right? So I also want to I want that to be understood that this game is not for the weak, bro. People are probably going to talk about this day in their life with their therapist for years to come. That day traumatized me. I seen my money go up so quick. And then I seen it evaporate even quicker.
Yeah, boy. You nigga lost a 50, bro, in a matter of 2 weeks. That shit is crazy.
Niggas gonna say I was up a bag and then I took a nap. I woke up, I was filing for unemployment. Like, I'm telling you, people are gonna tell you, like, that day changed my life with the market. And that is why I say, if you don't know what you're doing, if you plan zero DTEs, if you plan the weekly contracts, dude, you are getting screwed right now, man. That's why it's important to buy quality, buy time, and buy assets at a discount. I'm gonna say it every week. Paul Tudor Jones, read the Money Master the Game. That's another hefty book, almost 700 pages. Paul Tudor Jones talks about his strategy. Last thing I'm gonna talk about, talks about his strategy of being a 1 to 5 theory. What does that mean? I want to be able to put myself in a position where if I risk $1, I can see a 5x return every single time. If I can risk $1, I want to get $5 out of it. But how do I do that? That means I got to wait for the right time to enter, and I got to be ready to enter, and I got to know what I'm doing. That's how we should be looking at this thing. I want to risk $1 to make 5. I want to risk $100,000 to make 500,000. I want to risk 1 million to make 5 million. That is how I'm trying to play the game. I'm not trying to risk $1,000 and get to $1,200. And I got a 20%. No, that's I'm telling you, that's little money, bro. When you playing a big dog game, they're not going after no 20%. They're going after 1,000%. I'm gonna wait till everybody's scared, everybody fearful. I'm not gonna buy this whole month. I'm gonna just sit on my hands. When everybody fearful, when that thing going down, I'm gonna load up $1 million in. And when that thing go back up to where everybody bought, people gonna be like, man, I'm break even. I'm back to where I started. Let's go. Bro that bought at the bottom, then turn 1 million into 50 million. Exponential returns, asymmetric risk. That's why it's important, like I said, to know what you're doing, be around people that know what they're doing. If you're new in the chat, be on the circle, man, say that in the chat. Hey, I'm new in here, y'all. I just need some help with understanding what's going on. Remember, I said this on my call as well. Tony Robbins said, the quality of your life is based off of the quality of your questions. I'm going to say it again. The quality of your life is based off of the quality of your questions. I gotta ask valuable questions and qualified questions to get to the life that I desire. Not no bullshit. I gotta ask some real questions. Quality. The quality of your life is based off of the quality of the questions that you ask. Yo, ask questions. Say what's up in the chat. Yo, we got 40 plus people now, 45 plus people. We almost have 50 people in the ecosystem. Yo, we all growing together. Yo, ask somebody, hey, this is what I need help with. Yo, the reason why I got Circle now is where you can DM somebody on the side if you need to. Hey, what's your Instagrams? Hey, can I follow y'all on there? Can I get help on this? Hey, I'm a beginner. I'm working a job. I got a kid. This is my situation. What's the best route for me? Listen to me. The reason why community is so amazing is because I might not have to spend all this money to go get a financial advisor. If I got Keys telling me how to control my emotions, if I got Malcolm telling me what to look for in the data, and I got Nate telling me great prices to enter and buying things on a discount, the amount of money that I might go pay them, I might just keep that in-house with us. That's why it's important to lean on each other. Yo, I got this business idea. I see Sam in here. Bro, we got guys in here that got great things going on. We got professional athletes in here. We got guys that play at the highest level in here, bro. We got guys that got their own businesses, their own brands, their own money. We got guys that are really killing this thing. That is why I wanted to keep the value of the ecosystem, the value of the ecosystem. If this was free, this was 99 cents, you're going to get all types of people in. No, when the value's here, oh, you got to be a caliber of person to get in here. Because I know I'm not gonna play around with it. If I'm paying that money to be here, I know everybody else is on a mission. I know they paying the same price I'm paying, so I know they locked in just like me. When you don't have that, when you do these free events, I'm gonna let Keys talk about that. He doing these free events. What did that breed, bro?
Not a dime.
What did that
Not a
breed?
dime. You know what? Really brought, I ain't gonna say a headache, but necessarily, people didn't value it. It brought I bought so much game that was worth tens of thousands of dollars, but nobody was really executing on it. So it really um it brings you it doesn't bring you joy, because for me, I was doing it to put people on. You know what I'm saying? To put people on and see like people that look like us in this space being able to dominate, because ultimately, bro, real estate is a white man's game. And I'm all about coming together and putting our money together and using our mindsets. And, even Niles was there. We was doing free events, and we had three people which get paid, 100 plus a year off of doing stuff for their job. And we have somebody who works for shop. We have, an actual CPA holder inside of the house. We have me as a real estate individual slash finance person. So it's like you have these different type of people that are trying to do good for the community, but the community doesn't value it. And then they call you a sellout. Then when you start charging people thousands and thousands of dollars, they're gonna be like, "Hey man, your price too high."
Yep.
And that's the disappointing thing, because I don't. For me, even now, me and Malcolm was talking about this on the thing earlier. I just love the game so much. That's why I teach it for EYLU. Like, I don't got to get paid a dime. I found a community that actually wants to execute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can teach them the game of real estate. They're going to go do what I tell them to go do and bring me back some results. Like, hey, bro, I just picked this up, right? I just did this, So that's the power of community, but the power of charging, even if it's not too much. I even see people that just be like, look, I just charge 50 to $100, just because I want you to value it. Because otherwise, you ain't going to get in here and show up at the meetings on the Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Like, you
Right.
know, you gotta want to also have to do some work. So don't just all put it all on Nate. Nate is supposed to give us the plays essentially, but it's supposed to be a iron sharpen iron. So understand how he's getting to those numbers. Like, understand why we're calling out the numbers that we're calling out and saying, okay, if it drops to this point and it breaks below here, hey, how is he getting the 491 if it break is going down more? Hey, how are you getting, how is Bill, you know, KB, how is he getting these different option calls to say, all right, I'm gonna put on this right quick. Like, all right, research the chart. Like, that was one big thing about starting a group too, of an investment group, is like people didn't want to take the time, bro, to just take an hour of their time to learn. This is literally taking an hour of our time and just learning and listening to different information, getting different books that we should be reading. Like, it's simple, and that's all that it take. It take an hour to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours to watch Market Mondays, 2 hours. Trapping Tuesday, 2 to 3 hours, depending on if you want to go for the Bible study. I go for the Bible study. It get me pumped up every week.
Every week.
Wednesday, no doubt. It get me pumped all the way up, and God always put the message inside of there, so he makes sure I tune in for Trapping Tuesdays. You got blackout on Wednesday, so see if you can eliminate TV. If you can eliminate, like, bro, just even
What's
while I
up,
was
brother?
in Dubai, I went through and started canceling everything. I'm like, nigga, I don't watch Netflix. I don't play Xbox. I'm sitting over here dishing out this money when I can be putting this money. It's go time, fellas. Putting this money towards the stock instead of being the user and the consumer, become the person that owns the company
Right.
and
Right.
it pay you, you know?
Yeah, man. And that's like, and that's how we'll end it. That'll be our call for the day, man. Just like Keys just said, man, just leaning on each other, bro. Community and doing that work yourself. You know what I mean? That's why we started this. You know what I mean? We wanted to build with each other. It's one thing winning by yourself. It's another thing winning with other people, man, that you trust, that you love, that you rocking with, man. That's a whole different feeling, bro. So, man, if y'all need me, y'all know to hit us in the chat. Make sure y'all go through the tabs, man. If you're a beginner, go through the Notion tab. There's a beginner tab, there's the content calendar, there's the trading log, there's the old calls that we've done, right? There's the old call that we've done. There's the books that I'm reading that you can read yourself. There's all of that in the tabs. Listen, I created the ecosystem with this in mind that you can have access to everything that we have access to all in a folder, all in a template, all in a tab, right? So man, please go through it. Please you know, do yourself a favor. Go watch the videos on there. I got the beginning for options trader on there. I got the beginning for how to get started with a brokerage account. I got all of that on there. What to look for, what to buy, different resources. Wall Street Trapper, Earn Your Leisure, right? These guys that you should be watching, these guys that you should be following.